The day my divorce was finalized, my ex-wife and I died together in the same car crash. In those final, bleeding moments, the name she whispered wasn't mine. It was a confession of regret. If I could do it all over again, I'd choose Jackson Pierce. Only with him did I ever feel alive. When I opened my eyes, we had both rebooted. We were back on the day I proposed to her. She looked at me, a flicker of recognition in her eyes, then violently slapped my hand away and ran toward Jackson. I stood there, silently lowering my hand, and let her go. But months later, she was on her knees in front of me, begging for another reset. The moment the world snapped back into focus, I was standing in the center of the Starlight Roof Garden, exactly where I had planned to propose to Chloe Bennett on Valentine's Day. The terrace was a sea of imported roses, the Chicago skyline glittering in the background. It was a setup straight out of a rom-com. I looked around, locking eyes with her, Chloe. I watched her gaze shift from confusion to clarity, and then to a dawning horror. I knew instantly. She had come back too. She had the memories of our past life. She remembered the crash that took our lives, and she remembered her final words to me. If I could do it all over again. She glanced at me, her expression turning cold as it slid over my face. She offered a tight, fake smile. Ethan, thank you for all of this, really. But her eyes darted past me, locking onto someone in the crowd. I followed her line of sight. Jackson Pierce. He was wearing a sharp black suit, far more formal than his usual rocker attire, clutching a bouquet of red roses that looked almost garish under the floodlights. He stood there with the cocky assurance of a man waiting for his cue. Even though I knew it was coming, the reality of it stung like a fresh cut. Chloe, I said, my voice low. Then, she did exactly what she wished she had done the first time. She wrenched her hand from my grip and walked toward Jackson without a second of hesitation. I heard the collective gasp of the crowd, a sound that mirrored the crack in my own chest, but I also saw the desperate urgency on her face. Ethan, I'm sorry, Chloe said, her voice projecting loud and clear, cold yet steady. I've realized that the person I truly love is Jackson. I hope you can understand. I hope you can let me go. She grabbed Jackson's hand. Jackson looked stunned for a split second before a triumphant grin split his face. He pulled Chloe into a dramatic embrace. Chloe, baby, you're finally listening to your heart. I've been waiting for this. I stood alone in the center of the proposal circle, the whispers of the onlookers buzzing like static. Chloe's voice had been unwavering. The way she looked at Jackson, full of tenderness and expectation, was the way she used to look at me. I took a deep breath. Chloe, I respect your decision. From this moment on, we go our separate ways. No hard feelings. Saying the words aloud brought a wave of relief I hadn't expected. It felt like dropping a 100-pound rucksack I'd been carrying for a decade. Jackson laughed, a smug sound. He draped his arm around Chloe's shoulders, claiming his prize for the world to see. I'm going to make you the happiest woman alive, Chloe. From now on, I want to see you front row at every gig. We're going to take those trips to Paris and Tokyo we talked about. Just us against the world. Chloe beamed like a teenager, starstruck. As long as I'm with you, Jackson, I don't care where we are. I turned my back on them and walked away. I didn't look back. Later that night, the bass was thumping at the Avery. I called my college roommates to meet me. Ethan, man, you okay? Marcus clapped a hand on my shoulder, his face etched with concern. I downed my whiskey in one go and laughed. I'm fine. Seriously, don't give me that look. I'm actually happy. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is to constantly walk on eggshells around Chloe? My friends exchanged skeptical glances, but I meant it. Losing Chloe wasn't a tragedy. It was a parole hearing. I thought back to our first life. Chloe and I had been inseparable since kindergarten. Our families, the Caldwells and the Bennetts, were pillars of the Chicago business community. Everyone joked we were arranged by destiny. We bought into it, too. Ethan, what do you think our house will look like? She used to ask, eyes sparkling. Doesn't matter as long as you're in it, I'd say. But after the wedding, the reality was a slow suffocation. She grew bored. She claimed our life was monochrome. I was busy scaling the family firm, missing the signs of her detachment. Then Jackson Pierce's indie band blew up. He had that raw, dangerous charisma on stage, and he stole her heart effortlessly. She started coming home late. Then, not coming home at all. When I confronted her, she shrugged it off. Ethan, Let's just have an open marriage. We could both have fun. It's modern. It felt like a knife to the gut. Chloe, we're husband and wife. I tried to reason. No, you're my roommate who pays the bills. Don't infringe on my freedom, she'd snapped. Divorcing her was the hardest thing I ever did in that life. She laughed when I served the papers. Do you know, Ethan? One day with Jackson is worth more than a lifetime with you. That was when I died inside. Now, standing in this bar in a new timeline, I finally understood. Letting go wasn't a loss. It was survival. The alcohol was starting to hit, blurring the edges of my vision. I set up to head to the restroom to splash some water on my face, but my feet carried me down the wrong hallway. That's when I heard it, a voice drifting through the cracked door of a VIP booth. Ethan Caldwell is such a stiff. The guy's a total bore. All he knows is spreadsheets and quarterly projections. Zero passion. It was Chloe. Her voice dripped with disdain. That's why you need me, baby. I'm the only one who knows how to make you feel something. Jackson's voice purred, thick with arrogance. My jaw tightened. They were here, talking about me. Curiosity got the better of me. I nudged the door open. The room was hazy with vape smoke. Chloe and Jackson were center stage, surrounded by Jackson's entourage, looking cozy. When they saw me, the laughter died instantly. Chloe's face soured. She stood up defensive. Ethan, what are you doing here? Are you stalking us? We're done, okay? Why can't you just leave us alone? Jackson smirked, standing up to drape himself over her, marking his territory. I steadied myself, fighting the urge to roll my eyes. I'm just passing through to the bathroom. Relax. Like I said earlier, separate ways. I turned to leave, done with the drama. Suddenly, a body slammed into my chest. It was Olivia Sterling, the heiress to the Sterling real estate empire. I knew her socially, but we'd never been close. She was wearing a crimson slip dress that looked like liquid fire against her pale skin. She was clearly wasted. She looked up at me, her eyes glassy and unfocused. Ethan Caldwell, did you really dump Chloe Bennett? I nodded. Technically, she dumped me. Olivia didn't seem to care about the semantics. She leaned in close, lowering her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Good. I've always had a crush on you, but you were always glued to her, so I never said anything. I blinked, surprised. I wasn't in the headspace for romance, but before I could politely decline, Olivia lost her footing. She pitched forward, collapsing against me, followed immediately by the distinct sound of retching. I sighed. Great. I couldn't just leave her there. I called my driver, hauled us both to the nearest luxury hotel, and booked her a suite. I was planning to drop her off and leave. Ethan, don't go, she mumbled as I sat her on the bed. I looked at her, flushed and vulnerable. I knew it was the tequila talking. I needed to be the good guy here. But when she grabbed my hand and pressed it against her cheek, looking at me with pure, unfiltered adoration, something Chloe hadn't given me in years, my resolve cracked. I like you, she whispered again. Stay. I sat on the edge of the bed. I told myself I'd just stay until she fell asleep. But in the haze of the night, things shifted. I let myself be wanted. The next morning, I woke up with a headache and a heavy dose of complexity. Olivia was asleep beside me. Last night wasn't a dream. You're awake? Olivia sat up, rubbing her eyes. You okay? It's a little complicated, I admitted. Olivia, you know I don't hate you. Hell, I like you, but I just got out of a situation. It's okay, she said, reaching for my hand. Her grip was warm. I know you held back because of Chloe, but that's over now. She was right. Olivia, I said, looking her in the eye, I'm going to try. I want to see where this goes. With us. She beamed and tackled me in a hug. Finally, for we bumped into them the moment we got back to the University District. Chloe and Jackson. They looked startled to see us together. Ethan, Chloe sounded offended, as if my existence outside of her orbit was an insult. What are you doing here? I stopped, keeping my expression neutral. My location isn't really your concern anymore, is it? Who's this? Jackson asked, eyes scanning Olivia with distinct interest. Oh, right, I said, wrapping an arm around Olivia's waist. This is my girlfriend, Olivia Sterling. Chloe's face went sheet white. She looked like she'd been slapped. Her hand twitched, raising as if she was about to strike me out of habit. I caught her wrist midair. Chloe, stop, I said, my voice dropping an octave. We're done. You don't get to throw tantrums with me anymore. Jackson stepped in, pulling her back. Babe, chill. Let's go. Chloe ripped her arm from his grip, glared at me with pure venom, and stormed off. Jackson trailed behind her, looking annoyed. I turned to Olivia. She was looking at me like I was a superhero. You just claimed me, she said, grinning. I squeezed her hand. You're my girlfriend, Olivia. Of course I did. 5 months passed. The campus gossip mill moved on from my breakup to the star-crossed lovers show that was Chloe and Jackson. They lived their relationship for the audience, riding motorcycles through the quad, singing acoustic ballads on the beach at 2 a.m. Everything was content. Their Instagram captions were paragraphs long about soulmates and destiny. People ate it up. They were the main characters. I didn't care. I was busy, until Chloe posted a photo that caused a stir in my actual life. My parents summoned me to the family estate in Lake Forest. They sat in the drawing room, looking grave. Ethan, what is going on? My mother asked. Mom, Dad, Chloe and I are over, I said simply. I know it messes up the merger plans, but it's done. I'm seeing someone else. Olivia Sterling. My father frowned. The Sterlings? That's unexpected. She's smart, she's driven, and she's not in love with a SoundCloud rapper, I said. You like her? My father, ever the pragmatist, shifted gears immediately. If the Bennett Alliance is dead, we need to pivot on the North Shore redevelopment project. We can't give the Bennetts favorable terms anymore. If you're with the Sterling girl, we should look at bringing her family in. I agree, I said. I'll have the legal team draft up new proposals. The weekend of the Grand Charity Gala arrived. It was a black-tie affair at the Four Seasons, celebrating a major industry milestone. I was working the room, champagne in hand, when a familiar voice cut in. Ethan, I hear you're killing it this quarter, making us all look bad. It was Sophie Bennett, Chloe's older sister. She was the brains of that family. Sophie, I nodded politely. Just doing the job. Speaking of jobs, she lowered her voice. How's the North Shore project coming? Dad's getting anxious about the contracts. I feigned ignorance. You have to ask my father. He's handling the macro strategy. Sophie's eyes narrowed. She knew I was stonewalling her. Ethan, we've always worked well together. Let's not let personal issues affect business. Business is about best interests, Sophie, I said coolly. Just then, Olivia appeared, sliding her arm through mine. She smiled sweetly at Sophie. The tension was palpable. Then, the room went quiet. I turned toward the entrance. Chloe and Jackson had arrived. They weren't wearing black tie. They were in matching, distressed leather biker gear. They looked like they had wandered in from a dive bar. It was a statement. A loud, stupid statement. Chloe's father, standing near the buffet, looked like he was having a stroke. 7, look at these people, Jackson announced, loud enough to carry over the string quartet. Spending thousands on a dinner while pretending to care about the world. It's all fake. The guests, the elite of Chicago society, stared in disbelief. Mr. Pierce, an elderly donor said, stepping forward. Show some respect for the hosts. Chloe stepped in front of Jackson, chin high. He's just being real. Jackson speaks the truth. Unlike the rest of you hypocrites. Miss Bennett, someone called out from the back. A gossip columnist, probably. Why did you dump Ethan Caldwell for him? Ethan is a catch. This guy is. Well, look at him. Chloe gripped Jackson's hand. Because Jackson is my soulmate. I chose love over money. I chose passion over a resume. She grabbed Jackson's face and kissed him, right there in the middle of the ballroom. It was performative and desperate. When the night ended, I saw Mr. Bennett cornering Chloe near the valet stand. You are a disgrace, he hissed. Break up with him. Apologize to Ethan. Fix this or so help me God, Chloe. I won't. Chloe screamed back. I love him. Ethan is the past. Jackson is the future. Why can't you be happy for me? You're destroying this family. I don't care. Watching from a distance, my father put a hand on my shoulder. You dodged a bullet, son. We're giving the lead on the North Shore project to the Sterlings. Olivia seems capable. I smiled. She is. 6 months later, I stood on a private rooftop overlooking the magnificent mile. I had rented the whole place out, filling it with Olivia's favorite lilies and soft candlelight. Olivia, look at the view, I said. When she turned, I was on one knee. Ethan, she gasped. You saved me from a life of gray, I said. Will you marry me? Yes, she sobbed. 1,000 times yes. Around the same time, Chloe and Jackson got married. They live-streamed it on TikTok. It was sponsored by an energy drink company. I thought that was the end of it. She got the guy she wanted. I got the life I needed. Non-life was good. Wedding planning was in full swing. But Chloe kept popping up in the news, and not for good reasons. Trouble in paradise for a rocker couple. The headlines read. One afternoon, I was leaving the office with Olivia when my phone rang. Caller ID, Chloe. I hesitated, then answered. What is it, Chloe? Ethan. Her voice sounded ragged. Can you meet me? Please. I need to talk. I looked at Olivia. She gave me a nod. Go. Get closure. I found Chloe smoking outside a coffee shop. She looked 10 years older. Her designer clothes were rumpled. Ethan, she said, eyes pleading. I'm so tired. Jackson isn't who I thought he was. He's always working, or he's out partying. We fight constantly. We're broke, Ethan. The label dropped him. I stood there, hand in my pockets. That sounds rough, Chloe. And the rumors, she continued, voice trembling. There are videos of him with other girls. He doesn't even deny it anymore. He says I'm suffocating him. Chloe, I cut in. Why are you telling me this? I want a life that felt free, passionate. But this isn't freedom. It's a nightmare. She looked at me, a spark of the old entitlement returning. You were always the stable one. You always fix things. I'm getting married, Chloe, I said coldly. To Olivia, you made your choice. You wanted the rockstar life. You got it. Don't call me again. I walked away. Behind me, I heard her whisper, no, this is wrong. It wasn't supposed to be like this. The week of my wedding, the bomb dropped. TMZ released a video. Jackson Pierce caught in cheating scandal at Motel 6. It was everywhere. I saw a clip on the news. Chloe being swarmed by paparazzi outside her apartment. She looked unhinged, screaming at cameras, shoving a microphone before fleeing inside. 3 days before the wedding, my phone rang at 2 a.m. Ethan, I regret it, Chloe sobbed into the phone. I regret everything. We need a reset. I need to go back again. You're delusional, I said. Get help. I hung up and blocked the number. The next morning, Olivia didn't show up for our cake tasting. My stomach dropped. Then, a text from an unknown number. Come to the old campus library rooftop. Alone. Or Olivia dies. I drove like a maniac. When I burst onto the roof, the wind was howling. Chloe was standing on the ledge. She had Olivia in a headlock, pressing her dangerously close to the edge. Olivia was gagged, eyes wide with terror. Chloe, don't do this, I shouted, holding on my hands. Chloe laughed, a broken, jagged sound. Ethan, you're here. See? I knew you'd come. She pulled a syringe from her jacket pocket. We're gonna fix this, she said, eyes wild. We're gonna go back. Like last time. We just have to die together, Ethan. That's the trigger. If we all go, maybe we'll wake up back on that day again. And this time I'll choose you. She tossed the syringe at my feet. Inject that. It's a sedative. It'll make it easier. Then we jump. She was completely psychotic. Okay, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Okay, Chloe. Just let Olivia go first. She's not part of this loop. No. Chloe screamed. She's the obstacle. She has to go too. I picked up the syringe. I checked my watch. I had already triggered the SOS on my phone. I just needed time. I'm doing it, I said, feigning weakness as I pretended to inject my arm. I slumped to my knees. It's working. Chloe smiled, a beatific, terrifying smile. She relaxed her grip on Olivia just a fraction. See you on the other side, my love. Slam. The SWAT team kicked open the access door. In the confusion, I lunged forward, grabbing Olivia and pulling her to the safety of the gravel roof. Chloe screamed, realizing it was over. She looked at me, betrayal in her eyes, then looked at the sky. I'm restarting, she yelled, and she jumped. I scrambled to the edge, horrified. She landed on a massive, inflatable cushion the fire department had deployed in the alley below. She survived, but her leg was shattered. Chloe was committed to a psychiatric facility indefinitely. The diagnosis was severe delusional disorder. Jackson Pierce filed for divorce the next day. Olivia and I got married on schedule. It was perfect. No drama, just friends and family. Years later, we have 2 kids and a house in the suburbs. Sometimes I think about the reset. Maybe it was a miracle. Maybe it was a hallucination. All I know is I got the second chance I deserved.